What the hell is Saw Sports or whatever that last call was talking about? What the hell is that?
Guys are from Free Love, man.
Alright guys, what is up? So today we will be discussing defensive midfielders, and I'll explain a little bit about defensive midfielders. But before we get to that, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to Saw Sports TV if you guys want to get that other content on the other teams here in Houston. So obviously the Houston Astros, the Dynamo, and the Rockets, and of course any other team here in Houston and the Houston area. Obviously we have Saw Sports that covers majority Texans game. That's our primary channel, but Saw Sports TV is a channel for all the other teams. So make sure you guys subscribe to Saw Sports TV for that other content as well. So when discussing about defensive midfield, now there's going to be two separate midfield videos. So I don't want to confuse you guys on the other midfield video, but defensive midfield is pretty much the way it's explained. You're a midfielder, you're going to help support the attack, but you're also there to be that extra defender for the team. So most back lines usually consist of 4 guys, so you're that 5th defender that's going to help provide some extra support for the defense. But like I said, you do also go up there and help with the attack, mainly usually just staying around the box in the attack area and just either have a really solid outside the box shot or just in general just there to help support the team, whether it be in the attack or in the defense. But majority of your job is there to play an extra defender. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get going with the first defensive midfielder. So the first defender I'm going to talk about is Matias Vera. He had a total of 36 appearances, scored a goal, had an assist, had 10 yellow cards, and 1 yellow card that went turned to red, which means essentially he got a second yellow in 1 game. Which, if you guys now know in soccer, if you get 2 yellow cards, you immediately get a red card and you're out of the game. And so there you go, now you know. But Matias Vera, honestly, man, was such a great player. Honestly, might be the MVP for the Dynamo this year. I just think he did a really good job. He helped very well with the defense, and he even provided some moments in the attack as well. I think Vera just was a really good addition to the team, and I think he gelled very well. I don't think most guys that end up coming from either South America in the South American leagues, they usually don't necessarily adjust very well right into it. And I think Vera just did a really good job, and he got adjusted very well to the league, and it showed. I mean, you know, he was probably the most used defensive midfielder on this team, and respectively so. So I definitely will say keep Matias Vera, unless some team gives you like a ridiculous offer, which I don't think they will. So I say definitely make sure you keep Matias Vera, because I definitely think he's a very important piece, especially for your midfield. All right, the next guy I'm going to talk about, and it is my fellow Salvadorian, Darwin Martinez. He had a total of 16 appearances, scored a goal, and had a yellow card. What do I have to say about Darwin Martinez? And this is going to be one of those things, man. I like to keep him as a depth piece. So, obviously, if he's not either on the bench, that we can bring him in to, like... He's an aggressive player. I think he's more aggressive than Matias Vera. And it's kind of that Salvadorian tactics that, like, Salvadorians are known for being a little bit on the dirty side when it comes to playing, and Darwin Martinez is probably the best example of that. But I think that he's definitely and has a lot of experience here in the MLS, and I think that's a very important thing. So I definitely would want to keep him. But I will also say, if he's not necessarily thrilled of just coming off the bench, because I do think Matias Vera deserves to be the guy starting frequently, and I think Martinez will have no problem with it. And I think that also put him in for those side tournaments. Like I said, same thing what I've been saying about Figueroa or the other guys that use them for that second team. And so I think that Darwin Martinez will definitely be a good fit for that second team. Alright, so this one's going to be a little bit heartbreaking for me, but I'm going to talk about Juan Cabezas. His contract will be expiring in December, at the end of December of this year. He had a total of 19 appearances, scored a goal, and had 5 yellow cards. And the reason why this is really hard for me to say is I like Juan David Cabezas. I think he's very good. I think he was a solid player, especially when the Dynamo made that push all the way to the Western Conference Finals that under the first year of Wilmer Cabrera. But he got injured, and I just don't think he's been the same since. and I think that he just needs a change of scenery. So this is my decision for this one, is just go ahead and let his contract expire and let him move on to somewhere where he kind of get a new feeling, maybe get healthy, and that. But it definitely hurts me to say that, because I definitely want him to stay, but he's also up there in age, so I think that he definitely should not be with the Dynamo this year. So those are the defensive midfielders for the Houston Dynamo. Like I said, man, it's hard to say that let's get rid of Juan David Cabezas, because I think he is really good, but I just think that those injuries he hasn't been able to get over those injuries. So I think with the fact that Matias Vera has played the way he has, and Darwin Martinez could definitely be that solid number 2 behind Matias Vera, I think that it just makes sense to let Juan David Cabezas go. So that's what I got for defensive midfielders. Like I said, man, go into the comment section. If you have any questions about defensive midfielders, that's where you can go ahead and do that. Also, like this video and subscribe to Sauce Sports TV so you guys can keep getting content of the other teams here in Houston. So with all that being said, man, chucking up a deuce. Y'all stay saucy.
Perfect.